The invitation had arrived by courier. My sister, Victoria, was throwing a sweet 16 for her daughter, Sophia, at the Meridian, an exclusive venue with minimum spends that could fund a small car. I wasn't invited to the party itself, only to the gift-opening brunch the following day at Mom's house. It's nothing personal, Victoria had said. We have a strict head count, but we'd love to see you at the brunch. A deliberate hierarchy. The wealthy celebrate at the Meridian. The rest watch them open presents in a suburban living room. I showed up at 11. Mom's house smelled like catered bagels and expensive coffee. Victoria opened the door, wearing white linen and gold jewelry, her hair professionally styled. The living room had been transformed, seating arranged in a semicircle facing a throne-like chair where Sophia sat in last night's party dress. Around her were stacks of designer gifts, boxes from stores I'd only seen in magazines. Mom sat in the front row, dabbing her eyes. Victoria's husband, Marcus, stood by the window with a video camera. Sit in the back, Victoria said, gesturing to a folding chair near the kitchen. Real guests need to be visible in photos. Sophia began opening gifts, a Gucci handbag, Louboutin heels, diamond earrings from Mom, each more extravagant than the last. Marcus captured everything on camera while Victoria announced each giver. I brought a leather journal and pen. It sat on the side table near the kitchen, separated from the designer boxes. This is from the Hendersons, Victoria announced, holding up a box with the distinctive Tiffany blue. Inside was a silver bracelet that probably cost more than I made in a month. They couldn't make it to the party last night, but they wanted Sophia to know they were thinking of her. The Hendersons hadn't made it to the party, but their gift was still part of the main event. I was family, but my gift was exiled to the kitchen. After the 20th gift, Victoria called for a break. Guests moved toward the dining room, where catered food waited. I stood to follow, but Victoria's hand stopped me. Actually, there's an issue with seating. We planned for a specific number, you understand. There were easily enough seats, enough food. But Victoria's expression made it clear this wasn't about logistics. "He can't join the party," she said, louder now, as if explaining to the room rather than to me. We had a very specific plan, a very specific budget. Every seat was calculated. Mom emerged from the dining room, a plate in her hand. "Victoria's right, dear. These events are expensive. You can't afford the entry fee anyway, so it's better you just watch." The room had gone quiet. Victoria's friends pretended to focus on their food, but I could feel their attention. Marcus's camera was still recording. "The entry fee," I repeated. "It's $200 per person," Victoria said. "That's what we're paying for the catering, the venue rental for last night, everything. If you want to participate fully, you'd need to contribute your share. Otherwise, it's not really fair to everyone else who paid." I hadn't paid anything because I hadn't been invited to pay, but pointing that out seemed beside the point. I just smiled and said, "Interesting." Victoria took it as agreement. "I'm glad you understand. It's nothing personal, just economics. When Sophia has her graduation party, maybe you'll be in a better position to contribute." She returned to the dining room. Through the doorway, I could see them eating and laughing, discussing last night. The band had been amazing. The decorations spectacular. I sat there for 30 minutes, long enough to understand exactly where I stood in the family hierarchy. Then the doorbell rang. Mom answered it, and I heard a woman's voice, professional, warm, carrying a tablet. "Hello, I'm looking for Mr. James Patterson. I'm told he's here." "That's my son," Mom said, confused. "He's in the living room." The woman who entered was Jennifer Walsh from Prestige Events Management. I recognized her immediately. "Mr. Patterson," she said. "I apologize for interrupting, but we have final details to confirm for the Sophia Morrison event." Victoria appeared in the doorway, confused. "I'm Jennifer Walsh from Prestige Events Management. We handled last night's party." "I know who you are," Victoria said slowly. "We paid you. Why are you here?" Jennifer glanced at me. I nodded. "Actually, Mrs. Morrison, you didn't pay us. Your deposit was refunded 2 weeks ago. The full cost was paid by Mr. Patterson." Silence. Complete, absolute silence. Victoria's face went through several colors. "That's not possible. We paid for the party. It was our gift to Sophia." "I have the contracts here," Jennifer said. "Mr. Patterson contacted us 4 months ago. He covered all expenses, venue fee, $12,000. Catering for 150 guests at $180 per person. The band, $5,000. Flowers, $3,000. Photography package, $4,000. Marcus's camera lowered. But we wrote checks, Victoria insisted, which were refunded, Jennifer said. Mr. Patterson wanted you to feel ownership of the event. The total cost was $68,400. Victoria looked at me, really looked at me, for the first time all morning. $68,000? Plus the tip for staff, I said quietly. They did exceptional work. But you, Victoria gestured vaguely at me, at my position by the kitchen, at the folding chair I'd been relegated to. You can't afford the $200 entry fee, I finished. You're right. I couldn't possibly justify spending $200 on a brunch when I'd already spent $68,000 on the party. Jennifer checked her tablet. Actually, Mr. Patterson, I have the final invoices here for your approval. The day after flowers for Mrs. Morrison's home came to $1,800, and the photographer wants to confirm the album package you selected. The premium one, I said, with the leather binding. Sophia should have something lasting. Victoria's friends had emerged from the dining room, drawn by the commotion. They stood in the doorway, plates in hand, watching the scene unfold. I don't understand, Mom said. If you had that money, why didn't you say something? When? When Victoria told me I couldn't attend? When you said I couldn't afford to participate? Marcus set down his camera. This is a joke. I assure you it's not, Jennifer said. Mr. Patterson is a platinum client. He's used our services for multiple events over the past 3 years. 3 years? Victoria's voice went quiet. Since he sold his software company, Jennifer said, then caught herself. I apologize. I assumed they knew. Software company? Mom repeated faintly. You sold a company? Victoria asked. 2 years ago. For how much? Enough that I don't have to worry about $200 entry fees. Jennifer cleared her throat. Mr. Patterson, the photographer, also wanted to confirm you requested copies of all photos be sent to family members. Should I still include everyone on the distribution list? I looked at Victoria, at Mom, at the assembled guests who'd watched me sit in isolation while they celebrated, at Sophia, still in her throne chair, her phone forgotten in her lap. Yes, I said. Include everyone. They should have memories of the party I paid for, the one I wasn't allowed to attend. That's not fair, Victoria said. We didn't know. If you'd known, you would have treated me differently. That's exactly the problem. Mom stepped forward. James, please. We made a mistake. But you have to understand. You thought I was broke. So you treated me like I was worthless. Like watching your granddaughter open gifts was a privilege I should be grateful for. Like sitting near the kitchen was the appropriate place for someone who couldn't contribute. It wasn't like that, Victoria protested. Then what was it like? Explain it to me. Explain how you decided your brother couldn't attend his niece's party, couldn't eat at the brunch, needed to understand his place in the family hierarchy. Sophia finally spoke, her voice small. Uncle James paid for my party? All of it, I said. The dress you're wearing, the venue, the band you and your friends love so much. Everything. Tears welled in her eyes. I didn't know. I didn't even thank you. You didn't know there was anything to thank me for. Your mother made sure of that. Jennifer glanced between us. Should I? This seems like a family matter. Perhaps I should come back. No, I said. You came for approval on the final invoices. The flowers are fine. The album is fine. Send me the total and I'll transfer payment this week. Of course, Mr. Patterson, she hesitated. For what it's worth, the event was beautiful. The guests are still talking about it. Your niece should feel very celebrated. She should. I agreed. That was the point. After Jennifer left, the silence in the living room felt thick. Victoria's friends made quiet excuses and disappeared, leaving half-eaten bagels on their plates. Marcus retreated to the kitchen. Sophia remained in her chair, tears streaming down her face. Mom tried again. James, we need to talk about this. Do we? What is there to talk about? You made your position clear. I couldn't afford to participate, so I should watch from the sidelines. Those were your exact words. I was wrong, she whispered. Yes, you were. Both of you were. I looked at Victoria. You wanted to give Sophia a memorable party. You succeeded. She'll remember that her uncle paid for everything and wasn't invited, that her mother decided family was less important than optics. That's a lasting lesson. Please don't do this, Victoria said. We can fix this. Fix what? The party's over. The gifts are opened. The hierarchy's been established. I stood, moving toward the door. You got exactly what you wanted, a perfect event, perfectly documented, perfectly excluding anyone who didn't meet your standards. You're being unfair, Victoria said. Am I? You excluded me from a party I paid for because you didn't think I belonged there. Now I'm excluding myself from a family that doesn't think I'm worth a seat at the table. Seems perfectly fair to me. Sophia's voice stopped me at the door. Uncle James, I'm sorry. I should have asked why you weren't at the party. I should have noticed. I turned back. She looked young suddenly, despite the expensive dress and the pile of designer gifts. Just a kid caught in the middle of adult conflicts. It's not your fault, I said gently. None of this is your fault. I hope you had a wonderful party. That was real, regardless of everything else. Will you come to my graduation? She asked. I don't know, I said honestly. That depends on whether your mother sends me a real invitation or tells me to wait in the kitchen. I left them there, surrounded by designer gifts, catered food, and the wreckage of their assumptions. My own gift, the journal and pen, still sat on the side table near the kitchen, unopened and overlooked. Outside, the sun was bright, warm. I pulled out my phone and called Jennifer back. The album package, I said when she answered. Upgrade it to the deluxe. Add a second copy for Sophia to take to college. She should have good memories, even if the family gathering afterward was complicated. Of course, Mr. Patterson. Anything else? I thought about Victoria's face when she realized who paid for everything, about Mom's assumption that I couldn't afford basic participation in family events, about all the times I've been measured and found wanting because they couldn't see past their own definitions of success. No, I said, that's everything. I drove home to my apartment, the one they pitied because it wasn't a house in the suburbs. It was downtown, with floor-to-ceiling windows and a view of the city. I paid cash for it. They'd never asked to see it. That evening, my phone buzzed with messages. Victoria apologizing, Mom explaining. Marcus trying to rationalize. I let them accumulate, unread. Sophia's message was different. Thank you for my party. I'm sorry I didn't see you. I'm sorry they didn't see you. The journal is beautiful. It's the gift I'll actually use. She'd found it, opened it while everyone else was dealing with the aftermath. I wrote back, use it to write your own story. Don't let anyone else tell you what you can and can't afford to be. She replied immediately, can I still call you? Even if Mom and Grandma are weird about everything. Always, I typed. Family isn't about who throws the party. It's about who shows up when it matters. 3 dots appeared, then disappeared. Then you showed up. Even when they told you not to. I smiled at my phone, at this kid who was starting to understand things her mother still couldn't see. That's what uncles do. We show up, pay for things quietly, and sit near the kitchen when we're told we're not good enough for the dining room. That's not fair. No, I agreed. It's not, but now you know. Now you'll do better. The messages from the others kept coming. Explanations, justifications, requests to talk. I silenced them all and looked out at the city lights, at the life I built that nobody bothered to ask about. I paid $68,000 for a party I wasn't invited to. The joke was on me probably, except it wasn't really a joke. It was a choice. To show love in the only way they'd understand. To give Sophia something beautiful, even if it meant watching from outside. The entry fee, Victoria had said, was $200. She'd been wrong about that, like she'd been wrong about so much else. The real entry fee to that family was being invisible enough to ignore and visible enough to blame. I'd paid it for years, in silence, in small humiliations, in chairs near the kitchen. But I was done paying now. The party was over.